Hey guys, welcome into the post-game reaction show here on Locky Top Sports. We got Naveen, Andrew, and myself here to kind of break down what happened against the Crimson Tide, or the Crying Tide, or the Crumbling Tide, whatever tide you want to call them now. Obviously they're a fucking joke. They came into Knoxville, thought they were going to lock us down. Their defensive efficiency, fraud, right? Ken Palm, we call it out. They were like in a different atmosphere as defensively. They came in with a hot offense, and I think we held them to 71 points, right? Almost put a 100-burger on them. Again, the GOAT, Dalton Connect, coming in, leading all scorers today with 25 points, and basically just bent Alabama over the barrel and showed them all 50 states today. I'd like to get some of y'all's feedback on this. So, Andrew, go ahead and lead us off.
Thank you, Josh.
I hit the Soldier Boy on him.
All right. What's up, Lucky Top Nation? Just wanted to say, good to be back. Good to be back on the W column. My boy Naveen promised that we weren't going to stay at the 500, and we kept through. If you guys recall, the one metric I really like when comparing opponents is the strength of schedule. And I think that was really, shown here how battle-tested teams are. The two teams that clashed. I mean, you could almost call it the clash of titans. 12 and 5, 14 and 3. But which team could really pull through in the clutch, and we saw that. Just kind of looking through the stats real quick. So Tennessee shot 44.6% from the field. Bama shot 48. Alabama shot 44.6% from the field. Tennessee shot 48.5% from the field. But on the 3-point, Bama shot 4 for 21 for a whopping 19%. Our perimeter defense was very, suffocating. Tennessee actually shot 10 of 28, which was 35.7%, way above our average. Just want to direct your attention. Free throws kind of even, although I would say in the first half, Bama had the free throw advantage there. In the second half, Tennessee got a lot of the on the over and back type of fouls. In the rebounding situation, they both shot 17 of 24 and 17 of 25. I want to really shout out again to Dalton, who put out a fantastic scoring performance, 8 of 20, 25 points, although he didn't do really well on the 3-point. He got to the rim, 8 of 8 from the free throw line. That's huge. Shout out to my boy ZZ. He didn't have a lot of points. That this is a classic trap when you just look at the box score. But if you really look, beyond the scoring, you can kind of see he had 4 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 steals, and 0 turnovers. And I can't tell you how much something like that means for the team's overall offense. This guy's getting the steals, finding the teammate on the fast break. He's not looking to get his shot, but he's still finding his teammate that's open. 6 dimes, 0 turnovers. That's huge, especially when we're looking at it on the overall team stats. Suraba land, we forced 22 turnovers. 22 turnovers, feeling like Taylor Swift here. Whereas we only had 7 turnovers. And that's really where we won the battle, won by 20. We did guarantee you 5.5 was a lock. 15.5 was a lock. Just want to say, feels good. We're back. All right, let's go to Univine.
Yeah, so like you just said, 22 turnovers to 6. Points off turnovers very similar, 23 to 4. Second chance points. We beat them on offensive rebounds, and frankly, guys, if they play like this every time, they're going to be hanging a banner for sure. So cutting down some nets. But yeah, can we bottle this up and kind of get our performance to this level every time. Last reaction show, I asked for 3 players to get 15 points. Got it. Adu, Connect, and Gainey. We finally saw Gainey show up. Santi, good performance, 10 points, but really suffocating on D. Adu is, feels like my new favorite player on the Vols. 4 blocks, multiple people with multiple steals. James 2, Vescovy 2, Ziegler 4, Meshack 3, Gainey 3. And ultimately, we shut them down. Spears couldn't do Sears, although he had 22 points. You could tell that he was struggling the whole game, a little bit injured as well. And yeah, they just didn't have an answer for anything that was happening to them. Even in an off shooting night for Dalton, he had 25 points. So yeah, great game.
Yeah, I would just add to what Naveen said. A huge shout out to Santiago Vescovi. We were kind of making fun of him earlier on our podcast. We've been sort of talking like Donde está? Where is Santi? And he showed up big today. Although you might not think just by looking at the points scored, but you really dig down into it. He's only had 7 shot attempts, 3 for 7, 2 of 6 from the 3. Sure, that's kind of average. He's missed a couple of free throws, 2 for 4. That's very unlike him as a shooter. But you dig a little bit deeper into it. He's got 2 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals. Again, 0 turnovers. So our two guards there had 0 turnovers, along with Dalton Knet, who only had 1 turnovers. And then collectively speaking, that means we've had 13 assists and 1 turnovers from the 3 sort of guards that take up the majority of the minutes. So when you play like that, unselfish and looking out for open teammates, better shot, analytically speaking, better percentage shots, it's bound to end up in a good outcome. And I'm not here to say that you should always play the way that the spreadsheet tells you to say, because games are not played on the spreadsheet. Games are played on the floor. But that being said, it's just good to see how our players are sort of aware of what they're doing well at the moment. They realized that the defense was creating huge opportunities, defense to offense, turnovers leading to fast breaks, dishing out to the 3, open player, boom, hit a 3. Very happy to see. This is about it as good of a game that, as you could see. I would almost argue that this was a better game than the Ole Miss game.
Yeah, I think start to finish, I mean, Tennessee typically has those lulls in the offense where they go on a scoring drought for 4 or 5 minutes. We didn't see that this game. From start to
Wire
finish,
to wire, baby.
they came out and they were pressing offensively the entire time. Dalton Connect didn't have a great average from the field, but he still dropped in 25 points. Again, you mentioned the turnovers. I mean, we turned Alabama over 22 times. That's a recipe for winning any game that you play. Our points off those turnovers were huge. I mean, Bama. I mean, they out rebounded us. They shot more free throws than us. You look at the stats.
At
It's
least
not
in the first half, because we caught up at the end. We actually ended up shooting 1 more free throw, but that was including the last 5 minutes. A lot of the over and back type of fouls, the rebounding being a little bit aggressive, ticky-tacky fouls. But you're right.
Sure,
they were ahead by a large margin. Like going into the first half, I think there were like 11 more free throws than we had. So
sure. And then we shot the ball about 4% better than they did. I think we were like 48%. I think they were 44. Right. But yeah, I see the lock coming in down there. We'll get to that in a moment when we turn our eyes to something else. But I mean, Tennessee ballooned a lead out to 27 points at one point in this game, and it was really great to see it happen to the Bammers. I can't understand why Nate Oates is getting all these comments from Andrew about his fashion sense and his nice suit jacket. I hate him. I hate everything about Alabama. Their coach, their clothes, even if he looks sharp or whatever. But yeah, couldn't happen to a better.
For our listeners, I noticed that the head coach of Alabama, Nate Oates, had put on a nice maroon jacket, and I made a comment in our group chat, and it immediately got blasted for by Josh saying, "Oh, I hate how this guy looks. I hate everything about them." So hey,
I hate his
I
face. I hate
understand.
everything about him.
But that being said, gotta respect a man's fashion sense. And that was a very neutral comment saying that
Check it out.
I appreciate how he was able to dress up. It's almost like watching Bruce Pearl show up in the orange jacket and be able to rock that with swag, which I would argue not a lot of people can do that out in the wild. Bruce Pearl was able to, and similarly here, I feel like Nate Oates, he was able to rock that maroon blazer out with the swagger. So good to see that he at least he looked good while he was getting his ass kicked. Let's leave it at that.
I don't know, man. The way that Jonas Adu was just beating his bigs up down there, I don't think anybody in Alabama looked good, man, at all.
At least the head coach did in his suit.
All right, we'll agree to disagree.
All right.
What did you think about our boy Dalton, man? Just continuously to stay consistent, dropping 25 points. Jimmy Dykes, I think, has adopted Dalton Connect. He loves the guy. He just salivates nonstop each game that he covers Tennessee about just how great Dalton is. Thoughts on his performance, and then we'll talk about Tennessee's upcoming games here to kind of close this out.
Yes, I'll start. So he shot the ball 20 times. He's had 25 points, right? So that almost equates to about 53% in terms of the true shooting percentage. In my opinion, like it's not great percentage, but at the same time, we as keyboard warriors and the spreadsheet saviors tend to underestimate how much energy it takes to just get a shot up in the heat of the moment, in the flow of the game. Like you're not sitting there when you're dribbling and thinking, oh, if I give up this shot here and pass it to this teammate, I'm gonna save my percentages, right? I frankly speaking, I don't like to see that from a star player. I'm more of a team. Hey, like I don't care about my personal statistics. Whatever I think is right at the moment, let's go for it. And I feel like tonight or today, at least from what I've seen, he wasn't forcing anything. Sure, he's jacked up some shots, but it wasn't like crazy per se. So, again, like pretty good outing, 53 or so percent true shooting percentages. And again, Alabama is, they're not like great defensive team, but it's not like their metrics are towards the bottom. It's a conference play. It's always a tough game, as Josh alluded to earlier. We're 4-4 against them in the last few seasons. So again, I think it was great to see Dalton sort of take the lead, and as you mentioned, every time he got the ball, there was some sort of a gravity. You could see the Alabama defenders sort of collapsing, similar to how like a Kobe or like a Steph Curry got the ball. So
yeah,
very good to see. How about you, Naveen?
Yeah, so I was thinking about two things during the broadcast they kept bringing up were Rick Barnes is showing him KD highlights and just kind of getting him to have the same mentality as KD, and you can kind of see that forming a little bit, at least college KD. I don't want to project out and say he's going to be NBA KD yet. Maybe
he's got a long way to go before he gets there. Yeah,
exactly. But something watching the whole game, like something that came out clearly was this guy is conditioned like Steph Curry. Like he has a motor. Yeah, he's beating guys who should be faster than him all the time. that's why he gets to the line so often. He had 8 free throws. He went 8 for 8. It's just good to see that kind of consistency. Even when you're down, he's still up. He's gonna get 25 no matter what. Like if it takes him 10 free throws or whatever, he'll get it done. He seems to be very results oriented. He really wanted the 25 or just trying to get to 30. And he was passing a bit more today. I thought that was good. He's kind of realizing, okay, like today's not my day, so he gave up some easy passes and assisted his teammates a couple times, so that was good to see. And he seems to be like an above average defender. Never really focused on him that much, but he was putting, I believe, Griffin and Estrada in a blender on defense. So great to see all around game for Dalton. Even when he's down, he's still up.
Yeah, 100% agree with you, man. And I think we really have to relish what we're watching. Tennessee, we've not had an offensive player come through here like Dalton Connect in quite a while. I mean, you think about it. I mean, he just scored 25 points today. He has had the best 4-game stretch since I guess 2006 when Chris Lofton did it. I think I saw a stat that ESPN had posted up that his last 3 games, Dalton dropped 39, 36, 28, and then you include the 25 points that he dropped today. That the people that they're comparing him to is Chris Lofton and Allen Houston. We all know what Allen Houston did with the Knicks, when he went to the pros. Longtime pro player, all-star, and a Tennessee legend. And as we know, Chris Lofton, number 5 right there, his number is hanging up in the banner of the Food City Center. Yeah, the rafters. They got a banner up for him in the rafters of the Food City Center. So rare air, man. We haven't seen something like this in 20 years. So I hope it keeps going. But to kind of double back on what you were talking about with his awareness to kind of say, well, my shot's a little bit off today. And it's hard to say that when you drop 25, but in the first half, it wasn't falling for him. And then, he's able to find open teammates, facilitate, dish the ball. And again, it goes back to what we talked about during the podcast with the spacing, right? It opens up scoring opportunities for everybody else because they're trying to double team Dalton when he has the ball in the hand and when he's bringing up the ball. So kudos to him for being a good teammate and not trying to, just force it. And, I think the sky's the limit for this kid, and don't want to get overzealous, but it's looking like we might make a deep run in March. Who knows?
Yep. Definitely good to see. And also, stringing these wins together at this time in the conference is very important. I think as we talked about last week in SEC, if you have one loss, you really drop down a lot. Bama didn't have a loss until today. So that's good. We're probably going to jump them. So it's great to be competitive outside.
There's 6 teams currently right now in the SEC that have 1 or 0 conference losses. 6 teams.
Yeah, exactly. So that's basically half the conference, right?
The only other team in conference play, and it goes back to what we were talking about, Naveen, in our reaction show versus Florida.
Yeah.
I said it. I said Kentucky, Auburn, Tennessee is going to be your top 3 in the SEC. Right now, who is it? Auburn, Kentucky, Tennessee.
Right.
I'll just expand on that and say we saw a graphic that was displayed during the game. It said ESPN BPI estimates Auburn has 50% chance to win the conference. Alabama 46, Tennessee 29, Kentucky 7. Now these are not meant to add up to 100%. These are just independent projections for each team. Like given where the teams are today, if they played out the remainder of the schedule, what is the likelihood that they could end up as the SEC champion? So these are not supposed to be correlated, more of an independent Monte Carlo simulation type. But that being said, 50% and 46% for Auburn and Bama, and only giving 29% to Tennessee. Again, this goes all the way back to strength of schedule. ESPN's BPI treats all wins better than losses, so there's no concept of quality loss. And I'm not one to say quality loss is better than a win, but sometimes it is. Sometimes it is. It is better to have a loss to teams like Purdue, teams like Kansas, teams like Carolina, especially in a neutral or away setting. That shouldn't be a knock against the team's overall performance evaluation, rather than having just a win against nobody. And that's the critical flaw in ESPN's BPI system. And that's why ESPN's BPI system is no longer accepted as one of the metrics when the committee decides the seeding for March Madness. So I'm not really sure why ESPN continues to push that metrics down our throat. It's proven to be flawed. It doesn't work, and they tried shoving it down our throat again.
It's just to give
What can I
Tennessee
say?
bad pub. It's just bad pub for Tennessee, man. They do that in basketball. I would say even their college football, like their index there for college football is kind of sus, to say the least. But you know, I really don't understand why they have us, at 29%. I mean, we just took Bama out to the woodshed like we just witnessed. And I'm trying not to make too much of one game, but what we did today was pretty impressive. You look at Alabama's average per game going into this game. They were averaging
No more on offense.
91 points, right? Ken Palm, we talked about their offensive
Mhm.
efficiency. I mean, Ken Palm had
Yeah.
them rated number one, like you're saying, and they come in and we hold them to 20 points below their season average per game, right? So
What's the phrase that we want to come back to here, right? Defense wins championships.
that's right.
Awesome. So I'm guessing that's all we got for this reaction. Thanks for tuning in to Rocky Top, and yeah, great show, great performance by Tennessee.